Person 107. So your energy engages me in the heart center, and um, before I enter the door that leads to the sacred space of the heart, it's typically an open kind of ramp is how I get to the door that proceeds to the next vision. And this is before this is your energy, so this is part of my process still. And what happens is this rampway that's usually open is like enclosed, and I feel like I'm going kind of underground, and I start hearing the clanging of like boots on a metal walkway, and I get up to the door, and as soon as I get to the door, all this green mist starts to come around my body, and I get charged with so much energy, and it was really pretty cool. Something that's unique. And so from here, the door opens, but it's like a sliding open door, and I start getting impulses of Star Wars. It came through so much that I would have to say or question, are you somebody who's slightly obsessed that there's a new Star Wars movie coming out? But so the door opens and it slides like a Star Wars kind of inner spaceship, I don't know, door, instead of like typically a hinged door like I usually have. And as soon as I walk through, this whole sacred space of my heart area is changed, and I take in the energies, the colored light here. And instead of it being like a mist from a waterfall, which is typically what I get, as soon as I step through, I get these like sounds like that play in Space Mountain in Disneyland in California, like these really kind of cool interdimensional spacey type sounds. And I'm hearing all these sounds, and I feel like I'm on a sky bridge somewhere. I don't know, maybe that's a term from a Star Wars movie. And then there's these lightsabers. So the light that I usually take is a mist from like water, and so instead of that, I get these red lightsabers that like come into my body, and like laser light bring the red energy into my body, and then I move into the orange, and they're lightsabers as well, and then the yellow, and they're all kind of moving in different ways, and it's really cool and it's super powerful. But I'm getting such a connection to like Star Wars here. And so when my process is over, then we proceed to take your energy onto the rainbow bridge, and as it manifests, I get excuse me if I'm not saying the name right, are they stormtroopers that it's called? So those white, was Boba Fett one of those guys? I don't know, but that guy, and there was a group of them, and they were all in line, so it was like maybe 4 lines of 5 guys, and it was so cool because they were dancing. And now we're gonna kind of jump ship, but they were doing, and I don't know what this like dance battle's called, but between fraternities, they do like those really cool stomping, clapping, like it's all choreographed, and the whole fraternity, like they're slapping their arms and their hands together and stomping, and like they're yelling out their cadence of whatever their fraternity is, like the letters, and like kind of like arms up, and they're doing like those chants, and it's like super cool and powerful, and it's like a really cool thing to watch. And I hope you know what that is. And so these white stormtroopers are doing this like to something that's off screen, and so all these stormtroopers are doing like this whole dance, sorority, fraternity, whatever it is, stepping. I think it's called stepping, maybe. I don't know. And then off screen, what now looks like Darth Vader comes in, but he's like a bunch of Darth Vaders again, like 4 rows of 5 Darth Vader, like they're all in that black suit, and they do this like stepping back, and they're throwing their cadence back at the white stormtroopers, and they're doing this battle, and it's like super cool to watch. And so from here, at the end, like the black Darth Vaders kind of walk into the lines of the white stormtroopers, and then they become this like checkerboard. And I see this checkerboard, so all the guys kind of melt down, and now it's just this huge big black and white checkerboard, and I see these red and black checkers hopping over each other. And then I see at the very far end a huge, you know how, like, I don't know if when you were a kid, how you stack all the checker pieces up on top of each other, and when you get kinged, and make like a big king guy, and I hear your voice go, king me, and you said a foul word at the end, but like king me, and it was just kind of funny, and so from here the checkers all topple over and they become this box of crayons. And so out of the box of crayons comes two colors. It was red and blue first, and these crayons are drawing on this line of paper, and they're doing like a what's the caduceus, like the intertwining snakes, that thing up the staff. They make these intertwining kind of S curves around each other, and they're doing this, and then as they get halfway down the paper, two other colored crayons come out and start doing this, and then two more colored crayons come out and start doing this, and so you've got like now, I don't know, like 20 crayons out, and they're all doing these really cool kind of S lines, and I'm getting like very like artistic flow, like I'm getting very creative, like a very right brain kind of flow to this, and so all the crayons then get together at the very end, and this big picture has kind of been drawn, and it's really heavy on like the back side and kind of lighter wispy on the far side, and all the crayons stop and line up at this doorway, and this doorway is the next component of the reading. So I'll always see a door jamb, or this wooden door frame that represents the movement to the next part of the reading, which is typically where I read the chakras and the alignment for you within the chakras. And so this all happened so quick. Your reading was one of probably the fastest that went through in my mind. And all these crayons then are standing at this doorway and extending past the boundaries of the doorway, and all the crayons then come together and like melt into one huge crayon that is like 3 times the size of my doorway, and basically pushes right through the doorway and lines up in typically what I would see as the chakra column. So typically when people go through the doorway, they kind of float up or down and move into one of the chakras, and then I get kind of energy from that. But what happened was yours like bypassed the typical what's expected here, at least from me. And from root to crown, the very bottom to the very top of your chakra pillar, there's typically 7 chakras. So inside this crayon that is now a huge, big cylinder, like of melted wax that doesn't have a pretty color to it. It's kind of like a brownish color. It all goes from the bottom to the top of this energetic pillar, and so I'm looking at it, and it's completely solid and all wax and very thick, and you're saying I am the rainbow, and which would make sense, but it had kind of this like condescending-ish, or maybe condescending is not the right word, a little bit of an ego-inspired tone to it. And so you're sitting there going, I am the rainbow, but yet I'm looking at this and trying to figure it out in a very positive way, and I'm looking at this and going, okay, why is this entire chakra column so, with energy, the lighter you are, the less dense you are, the more, I would say possibly the more healthy the chakras are, and the better you're running the energy and able to kind of be aligned to the energy that's running through you. Yet you had this like, it was almost like a clogged pipe, like this wax, all the crayons together. It's almost like you had taken what you would hoped would be considered like to be a very like full of energy, chakra pillar, and you like concocted this this crayon mixture, which is all the colors of the rainbow, gorgeous, individually, but then when melted together, they're kind of this like brownish color and thick and dense. And I'm trying to move light through it to see if there's something I'm missing, and nothing's moving through it, and it's very dense. And so what happens next is the white light comes down, and the white light basically melts all of this crayon wax into a puddle down at the root chakra, and there's a tiny little version of you that's at the very bottom of it, and you're like so disappointed. You're like, oh, like almost kind of like you found me out, or like I found your hiding spot, something like that. And then you kind of get this really disappointed look on your face, and we're both, I think, understanding that it's almost like you're going to have to go through the process. You're going to have to go through this process of releasing this dense, this dense energy, whatever it is that you're holding on to, this density kind of within this energetic system that you're holding on to. And so what I see then is your body from this tiny little version of you blows up really big and touches the crown chakra and then comes down again, and then grows really big and then comes down again and then grows really big. So I'm getting that there's this growth cycle that needs to happen to really connect into the energy that's running through you. And so I'm getting that there's this need for growth within the energetic centers. And so from here, then you transition to the next phase, which is moving into the Akashic records. And I see you staring at your Akashic records, and it's kind of cool. It's I later gleaned that it was a motel-looking type of a structure, but it was kind of interesting because it was like almost in a point of an arrow. Like if you looked at it from the front, like there was a line of rooms that were going to the left, and then a line of rooms that were going to the right, and they kind of came together at this point in the front, and there was this like valet kind of area with an overhang. And so we go walking up to this valet area, and you go right up to the front door of this motel type structure, and you walk in and you go to the bell desk, and you're like, I'd like to check in, I have a reservation for one. And they're going, sorry, we're booked. And you go, but I have a reservation for one. And they're like, no, sorry, we're full. We can't take anybody else. And you're going, but this is mine. These are my records. Like, I am here. I made a reservation. These are mine. And they're going, nope, sorry, it's already full. And so then I look, and like this ball of wax, this crayon, is like filling down the left hallway and down the right hallway. And so I'm kind of maybe getting what's coming. And so I called on your higher self, and I ask your higher self, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And your higher self goes, we need to clean house. Basically, we need to let go. And they kept telling me that there's no room for the physical and the spiritual, and there's no room for the spiritual to go into the physical. It's almost like they were telling me that you had filled, and I'm getting, so please, I had to interpret this, so if this isn't correct, maybe do your own interpretation here from maybe the symbology that's come through, but I'm kind of getting that there's almost been this calculated approach to filling yourself on a spiritual level, maybe, or how do I say it? Like, it feels like the ego mind has done a lot to try and think of who you are on a spiritual level, or what fulfills, that's it. Like, what fulfills you at the deepest level of who you are. So your Akashic records are the life, it's your soul's existence. It's basically like all of your lifetimes stored in this Akashic record, right? So it's constantly at your it's for you to access. It's all of the wisdom that you draw upon each day. But what I witnessed was that in your records, this like ball of wax, this density, this almost kind of contrived interpretation or expectation of what you should be on a spiritual level was filling this area. And so when your higher self came down, your higher self says, we need to basically clear, we need to let go, we need to let go of these false concepts, these false pretenses, we need to let go, we need to allow room for the spiritual to come in. And so when we talk about like our physical body, one of the goals of being a fully energetically connected human is to have this higher spiritual self be able to descend down into the human body. But I was getting that what they were saying was the spiritual can't go into the physical, and the physical can't go into the spiritual. So when I see you trying to check into your Akashic records and get this wisdom and live in this place of spiritual alignment, it's almost like it was so filled with concepts that weren't aligned to you. It's almost like you tried to put things in there that didn't fit you, or that it felt contrived, it felt not aligned to you. It felt like these things were created to just fill the space almost. And so it's almost like there was no room for that divine alignment to happen, because it was filled with this, like, I am the rainbow, like with this ego version of maybe what your vision of yourself being completely aligned to the highest destiny might be. And so early on, I had asked what the title of your reading and they said he needs to know. And so what I'm getting here from your higher self is, and from this kind of version or vision of you in your chakra column, is that it's time to release some of this dense energy. So whatever you're holding on to that isn't serving you to the highest of your abilities, or aligning to that highest version of yourself, it's ready to be let go. So you need a clear space in your field to allow that highest alignment, the highest wisdom, the highest divine purpose to come through. It feels like that's the request of your most divine self, is to clear space so that when these things happen for you, that there's room for you to kind of put this in your bag of tricks, if that makes any sense, with so much light and love.